Welcome to another Forte Growth episode where we interview people doing awesome things online. We go over their successes, insights, and any failures to keep you motivated and inspired. Sit back. Let's go.
Welcome to the Forte Growth podcast. Today, we had Chris Palmer. And if you're not aware of Chris Palmer, he actually does a live stream with Craig Campbell every week on Wednesday on Craig Campbell's channel. And he also live streams on his own YouTube channel quite often, usually multiple times a week or many hours at a time. So make sure you check him out there. But Chris is, I guess, fallen mainly into local SEO, but he shares a lot of different things outside of local SEO too within this podcast. And we cover some of the local stuff, how to create a site for lead generation within local SEO. But we dive into some more, I guess you could say, grayer hat techniques around generating really good AI content, how he's using Google Bard to write his content, which is against the grain with what most other people are doing. So it's very, very interesting. We dive into a whole range of topics within this. So make sure you check this out. Welcome to the Forte Growth podcast. Today, we have the notorious Chris Palmer. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
No, thanks for coming on. I actually wanted to start this. What is your favorite flavor of Bang? Because you drink Bang energy drinks in almost every live stream you do.
Yeah, and I've been bouncing around between Bang and these new Ghost ones.
Oh, yes.
Ghost, I like the blue raspberry Sour Patch. For Bang, I love cotton candy. Cotton candy. Yeah.
I've been drinking White Monsters. That's my go-to now. But I don't drink them at the ridiculous times you do because I see you're live streaming at night and you're still drinking some of them. So I know you're a busy man. You've got a lot going on. But tell me, what's your day-to-day routine now? Because you've obviously got client work, your own stuff, all sorts of things. And I remember on one of your streams, you talked about your routine and it was ridiculous. And I don't know if it's the same now or if it's changed.
Yes. I mean, I'll wake up, go for a walk, have my drink, have a dip. Then I do my consultations from 8 a.m. until 11:30. And then at 11:30, I'll do any of the client calls that I need to do. I'll usually do an hour or 2 hours there. Then I'll meet with, things have changed. I have a much larger team now. So then I'll meet with my father and my brother. They're my heads. We'll see how are the processes going? What's the store doing? And then I usually allocate a half hour to an hour towards any type of test that I'm doing for the week. And then usually at about 5 or 6 p.m., it's family time until 9. And then that's pretty much the routine every day, man. That's it.
So it's not working for the night anymore then?
Well, it depends on what's going on, but I try to get my rest and get up because the world doesn't run at night. I do, and a lot of the VAs do, but yeah, it's hard. I got to be up early, a lot of times. So
yeah, fair enough. So you're mainly focusing more on, I guess, local SEO now. Is that kind of where you play most of your SEO role there? Do you play outside of that at all within affiliate marketing, niche sites kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, doing more lead gen. For homes, boats, planes, law firms. That's pretty much it. Not really affiliate though. No, local and lead generation.
Is that all for clients or is any of that for yourself?
Well, I have a few partnerships, but mostly clients and partnerships that I'm involved in.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to start some of this topic and some of the discussion around, I wouldn't say SEO myths, but a lot of people talk about various topics within SEO as the holy grail of different things. So one of them being EEAT, EAT. And do you believe EAT is a thing? And if so, if not, why? And is there a way to, people say EAT is just having basically an about us and author page to prove who you are, but obviously it goes a bit deeper than that. So maybe dive into your thoughts around that.
Well, as far as EAT, I definitely feel as though it is a thing. Having the author page and the about us and meeting those types of credentials is definitely part of the essential plan for winning, I think. It's just part of a good site, right? But I think building authority around a topic and having a lot of pages and entity assets, and anything that is an entity would have a machine readable entity ID. So that's audio, video, and images. So I think building true authority would mean that you have a lot of entity assets out on the web. And that's how you build true authority in Google's eyes. And you'll notice too, when you start generating that type of stuff, you do start to rank better too. It's a magical thing. So definite real factor. And so is like adding those little pieces to the site. But yeah, I definitely feel it's a factor for sure. Being an authority, a true authority, is definitely a factor. Absolutely.
Would you place, I guess, because we talked about the entity factors, obviously links are involved there too. Do you see links as part of that EEAT or as a major part of it?
Yes, but it's more of a secondary, right? I think being connected or being within the link graph with the winners to be, seen or foreseen as a winner is definitely part of the equation. Like I need to be in the link graph if I want to win like the rest of them, right? So it's a piece of it. But when I think EAT, I start thinking about building out a larger entity asset, like building out my content, building out the podcast, building out the images, having podcast, like that's building authority. The links is more for the website, like for the content, specific content, getting into the link graph so I can actually start to rank. Maybe I should have said that a little different, but yeah.
No, that's good. So, because I love that because I'm doing a lot of that for my own sites, but I'm the face of my own sites. A lot of people in this space might be using personas, might be not even just have a face on their sites because they want to be anonymous for whatever reason. So how do you go down that road of building some of these entities? For example, a podcast, right? I'm assuming you'd have to just outsource it, hire someone and use someone else's face and name to be the face of that podcast, things like that.
Yeah, but that's something my partner and I have struggled with is how do you get a keyword to be considered a brand or synonymous as a brand? Like We Buy Houses. Well, We Buy Houses is actually a brand, well, how did they do that? And when you start digesting and looking at what they built in order to do that, that's when we started coming up with the concept of building entity assets. So as far as building up, say, a podcast, you can still associate the brand, right? You could be a brand. Gotcha. You don't have to be a person to be a brand. You can, the name is the keyword. Yeah.
Gotcha. So does that mean in your eyes then to have true EAT, someone who is building, say, a niche website for display ad affiliate, whatever it is, to really round it out, they can't just have the website. They really need to dive into video, dive into social media and really expand their reach on the web versus just being a website?
1,000,000,000%. But think about it more semantically. Like anything with an entity ID, anything that's chronologed by Google as an actual asset on the web. So anything that's given a number. Web pages are given a number. Images are given a number. Audio is given a number, right? Everything has its own number or an M code, whatever you want to call it, right? So building out those other assets, expanding your reach, for sure. Like when we think about that, it's just like, hey, I'm doing social media. But we're thinking about it as having other entities online, like whether it's audio, images, content, even the link connections, all of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is getting deep. So, because I know you've done videos in the past of you've found like high DR sites that will give you that you can sign up for accounts on to get kind of like free high DR backlinks back to your site. Would that be like an example of an entity asset that's giving your brand name more, I guess, SERP?
Building up the backlinks. Well, that's going to help and allow us to get into the link graph. Those link videos get views, right?
Yeah.
But if we're trying to build true authority within a particular niche, there are certain links that are going to allow me to get into the link graph. Like there are certain categories of links that I need to have in order to win. Now, those links that I give away for free, they get a lot of views and they might fit your category, but not all links are going to move the needle for you. Just because it's a high DR or high authority link doesn't mean that it's going to push the needle, Yeah. It's got to be category specific. Is it government and law? Is it tech and computers? Like what category are you in? Because if I go out, it's got to be category specific.
So what's your take then on, I guess, authority versus relevance within, I guess, backlinks? So a lot of people will say, okay, I don't want to link from this site because that site isn't relevant. But is it the anchor text that's delivering the relevance, or is it just the site delivering the power, or is the site delivering the relevance as well? Does it really matter that much how much that's in your niche?
So no matter what the content or the category of link, every link is going to pass power. Now, how much power it passes comes down to what votes, what links are pointing at that site. When you're looking in Majestic or SEMrush or Ahrefs, because that's the tools we have, what category or which link graph is your website categorized as? That's what's going to determine the power that you get, right? And then you can jack up the power by having the title tag on the page that I'm getting the link. Okay, that's about my topic. The content, like the actual content, is about my topic. The surrounding text is about the topic. The anchor is about the topic, right? But it all starts with, if we want to be hyper relevant or specific, it's got to be category specific. Like the links that I'm getting are all connected to other sites that are about computers or about law or about government,
Okay.
right? All right. No.
Yeah. Okay.
You get what I'm
that
saying,
makes
right?
sense. Yeah, I get it. I
All
get
right,
it.
brother.
So what power do you place then on edu and .gov links? I think there was a lot of people kind of, at least recently, kind of poo-pooed that whole idea if that they're more powerful or not. But what's your take on those?
Well, irrelevant. I mean, no matter what, if I build out EDUs or .gov links, the .govs are generally redirect, but the EDUs are going to pass power no matter what the site is pointing to. However, a lot of those sites, EDU sites, are generally categorized as law and government, right? As being in that link graph. So for lawyers, beautiful thing. You know, like they push the needle. And if you go look at the winners, truck accident lawyer, car accident lawyer, go see the winners and look at their backlink profile. It's
Just
law and
EDUs?
government, law and government, law and government. Yeah, those links move the needle.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And I want to come back to EAT a little bit as well. So with EEAT, if someone's listening to this, they have a site, maybe they just have a site, maybe persona. What would you recommend someone do to start building out, I guess, the EEAT in Google's eyes, so they're not just a niche website? Is there something you would say to do first and maybe focus on, or are you looking to just spread as much as possible, as far as possible?
Most specifically, of course, we want to have the website that's going to be about the topic. All of the titles and the pages and the internal linking. The website is all about a specific topic, right? We have that piece. As far as the next process, I need to figure out, you know, what images and keywords, what images do I need to match those keywords that are in my niche and my topic? So what images can I put out on the web? So whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on Pinterest, Image, or any of the image sites. So I want to start gathering those image entity IDs. The next piece would be, if I go inside of SEMrush or whatever tool you want, which keywords or key phrases are producing an entity result, meaning that Google is showing either an image carousel, a video carousel, or they're showcasing a podcast. Those are entity results. So once I figure out the list of keywords that produce entity results, then I can produce the entities to match those keywords, whether it's images, video, podcast. So that's the actual strategy that we're looking for. And that's how you build up the authority. Like, I'm only targeting keywords that produce an entity result. Then I produce the entities and we win. And it works.
Okay. Okay. So if a certain phrase brings up podcasts, then you're creating a podcast for that query. You're not creating, say, a blog post, or you're just creating a blog post as well because they might appear further down the page.
We would finish the entire thing. That's right. Produce the page in order to produce the podcast, embed the podcast. Then we need the images, right? Not all intents or not all keywords are going to have a specific type of entity being showed or rewarded by Google.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some might be a video result. Some might be an image result. Some might show audio. Audio's tough, but you do get a couple results.
Interesting. Okay. Does Google's SGE change any of that for you with the AI answers and things?
Depending on the intent of the query, it sometimes does change things quite a bit. However, it is making it more relevant what the intent of the search is, which is making it a little bit easier for content production later on. So it's not really changing that much. Not that much, I don't think. How about for your SERPs?
Yeah, I mean, it's popping up a lot, and it's weird. It's interesting because obviously you look at, like, you see what's got the snippet and 1 and 2, then you look at SGE and there's like none of those sites in there, or there's like a site ranking 10 that's in the top 3 spots. I don't understand how it's pulling what. I don't know if you've done any testing at all with SGE to see what influences ranking in there.
Not testing that specifically, because I know that they're continuously changing like how they want that to perform. Something I have stumbled into that I've been playing around with is that the Google Cloud team put a tool, a semantic search relevance API in the Firebase as an extension. And I thought it was interesting to put in a keyword, and it's made by the Google team. Hey, these are the relevant pieces of content that we found on the web. And what I found utilizing that tool is this is also the results that it pulls up. So I thought that was a neat tool. That's the only thing I've been playing around with.
Yeah.
Different APIs, different AI generations like the Palm, Lambda. I've been messing with Bard. I've been playing with. You
Yep.
know, just to see. And then using this tool, Google came out with something called Vertex. You probably heard of it.
No, I haven't. What's that one?
And well, Vertex is how you can fine tune the models. So what we've been doing is pulling in, let's say I want to rank for car accident lawyer. I've been pulling the top 100 results, making it into one corpus of text, and then utilizing that as fine tuning data for the Palm model or for Bard. Super sweet, dude. Then the content is sick.
So
Yeah.
are you creating content then with Google Bard?
With the API. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
Palm.
interesting. Yeah, because a lot of people talking about when they're trying to create AI content, they're using maybe ChatGPT 4 or some other, or Koala or these other writers, but I haven't heard anyone trying to use Bard or anything like that
Palm is
to create it.
well. There's a big difference between 135 billion parameters and 175 billion. Or that Palm I think was 1.3 trillion. Like the more parameters, the more it knows. And if it can understand, check out that Vertex and just try it out. Like fine tune off of text. It doesn't have to be question answer. You can fine tune off of text. Take the text off what Google's already rewarding in the top 100 results. Use that as the fine tuning data, and then see the content that it produces, and then try to put it out. I guarantee that stuff indexes ASAP for you.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing some hectic stuff there. That's awesome. So how else are you using AI within, I guess, your workflow with these websites? Obviously, you talked about the content writing there. Is there anything else you're doing?
The only other element with AI right now that we're playing around with, at least, or testing out, is we really like Midjourney for creating the actual website. So when you land on the page, you see this beautiful website, but really it's just an image. And then we put the content below it. Like you can't even see the content, but all the heading tags and all the content is below. So you land on this gorgeous page that has the buttons and everything looks like a page. We're just playing around with that. As far as the images, again, it's going to be Midjourney. We were utilizing Dolly to produce images, but I really like Midjourney for the images for like local clients. And then other AI, no. Once I figured out how to fine tune the models, I couldn't afford to train the model. But I can afford to, like, it's just, I just can't afford that. But I can afford to run the CPUs or GPUs to train it, And then it's just like, well, who's got the biggest model? Well, Google's got it. Google has Palm. That's the one, And then they're making offshoots. Bard is an offshoot off of Palm. So like that's the hottest one. And plus they just give you access to it. Like what? What? Did you guys not see this? Everyone's using like ChatGPT. I'm like, dude, Google has it right here, and it's more parameters, and it's like dirt cheap to use. Why aren't you using this? We are.
After this podcast, I think we're a lot more people using Bard now and trying out those things.
Cool. I'm glad to share.
Nice. And then obviously you talked a bit about lead gen. Legion's always an interesting one, at least for me personally. I think it's a pretty cool area to be in because it's typically or generally a little less competition than a typical niche or affiliate site. But I think the problem most people run into doing it is the fact that if you're not going through a network, you have to sell the leads privately, and obviously you're having to deal with all that. So are you selling leads privately with your lead gen businesses, and how do you know how much to charge for your leads?
I've been very blessed, luckily, because of the name that I've built, right? So I've been blessed with opportunity. So I haven't had to go through a lot of the headaches that I've had to do in the past. So I was able to link up with and plus I have the opportunity to be able to choose who I want to work with. So the gentleman that I linked up with already had a place in order to sell home leads, right?
Okay.
So like we're able to get it's just easy. I just work with him, that's that. And then as far as for the law firm, they own the inbound and outbound call centers.
Oh, okay.
So generating so I've just been blessed. I really can't speak that much because what I would get is different than what someone off the old block would get. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, fair enough. And for anyone listening who maybe is thinking about or wanting to get into lead gen, obviously you've got the knowledge, the skills, the context to maybe go into some of these high competition niches like the law firm, the real estate or rental stuff. So is there do you have any guidelines, tips for anyone who's maybe looking to get into lead gen or local lead gen, how to find a niche that would be suitable for them? Because I'm assuming there are some niches that you just don't even want to be and don't even want to deal with that kind of trade or whatever it is, just because they're not tech savvy and you might not get paid, etc. So is the way that you assess competition and whether a niche is viable or suitable for lead gen?
Well, you heard the ones that I'm in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Law, real estate. What I have learned is, and I've tried other smaller projects, and there just wasn't enough. There just wasn't enough flow to make it worthwhile, all the headache and trouble and effort.
Yeah.
They're the reason why the competition is super high is because it's actually worth it. So like if you're going to invest your mental resource, your time, your energy, the money that you have in cause you're in your project, you're always working on it. You want it to be worth it. My advice would be against everyone else's. And it would be, if you're going to go for it, go for it. There's a reason why those niches are difficult because the guy,
things like
yeah.
DUI lawyers and stuff. Is that a very high competitive niche? I think anything to do with like, I can't remember the other ones. I'm sure divorce lawyers are probably another one.
Yeah, they're those case that's probably 265, something along those lines. Yeah, anything where there's a massive payout. Like think of a high ticket, a home, a boat, an airplane, a mobile home. Then start thinking about any type of professional. Chiropractors, I was working with a guy in LA that was giving me $125 a walk-in, which was really good in LA. I thought it was pretty good. Yeah. So I would definitely want to work with somebody that you can work with one-on-one. But as far as like these like agencies and stuff,
yeah,
I don't like that. The fees that they give you, or the money that they give you, it just doesn't seem to pan out. Go after something hard. Again, I'm not the best guy to ask about that. I've been very, very blessed.
No problem. No, that's good. I would love for you to dive into an example of how you would create a site. Let's take boating, for example. You're trying to get leads for maybe there's a specific sub niche within boating. How do you set up your site then, and what are you targeting within that? So I'm assuming you have your homepage, about page, maybe if you have a services page within that. But what are you targeting within that site or within that homepage to be able to get these leads?
All right. Yeah. Well, so let's say it's boats. So I would figure out, well, is it sell my boat fast or we buy boats, boats for sale, boats for cash? Figure out what the keyword is, and that's what my name's going to be.
Okay.
Right?
So you got exact match domain?
Exact or partial.
Okay.
Yep. Once I came up with that, the homepage is going to be all about my brand name, which is the exact keyword. So the biggest, broadest term is going to be my homepage. Mm-hmm. And on that homepage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to list out every single state, every state. Now for boats, it might be a little tricky because there's not water everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but let's just say it's for homes or something else, but we'll use boats. On the homepage, I'm going to list out every single state that I do business in, right? So Alabama, start with A's, do every list to go to every top level page. So the top level page would be, we buy boats in Alabama, we buy boats Florida, we buy boats, so that's state. On the state pages, I would have like a little block that's going to internally link to every single city. We buy boats in some city in Florida, some city in Alabama, right? I would build out every keyword plus location page, every single page that there is, for every single city, for every single state. Then the game is, well, getting those pages indexed and keeping them indexed. So the next key is, well, we got to get links to every single page, which is where the money starts to come in. Once we get the proper optimization, like the right word counts, how many images do we need, how many headers, all that stuff, and it's laid out, and we're running our indexing API consistently, and we can keep the pages indexed, then it's getting at least 20 to 30 links to every page, no matter what, which is very expensive.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So like we've been exploring primarily niche edits at this point, making sure we can get 20 to 30 links to every page. The other key piece is we have to start generating traffic, most notably brand traffic. Okay. So we have to get branded traffic to the website, get all the pages up, all the city pages up, all the state pages up, and get at least 20 to 30 links to every single page.
So how are you sending brand traffic?
I've tried numerous tools. We've created a tool recently, but before that we were utilizing Epic Traffic Bot and CTR Booster. I think he renamed it. I think it's called CTR Booster or something else now. But that's what we were using. But my partner and I, we hired a dev in order to create our own that will dynamically create profiles that will attach essentially the fingerprint to the IP. So when we have a new IP on rotation of 15 minutes, we can have a profile attached. So now that's how we're running traffic now. But
Damn.
yeah, we were just as successful, maybe not as successful, utilizing off the shelf tools. But that's how we'll do it. Mobile traffic, branded traffic.
Gotcha.
That's it, man.
Can you turn that traffic off eventually, or do you need to keep that running to keep your rankings, etc.?
I mean, we keep it running. We want to keep as we start to receive, because you're not going to pick up that much traffic in a lot of these little cities and towns, right? Like, but it's really good to keep the brand traffic. What we found, and this is pretty crazy, like even within testing plus on our own assets, if we can get brand traffic going to the website, most notably the homepage, it seems to lift a lot of the other pages, or at least keep them indexed so we can at least have a chance. Brand traffic is a big key piece.
Yeah. I think it's a big key piece for most niche affiliate sites too. Once you start getting brand traffic, then it becomes much easier.
Like that was a big light bulb for us. Was, man, you know, that branded traffic, people looking for you or you plus keyword is the lifeblood. Like you need that. You have to have that. If you don't turn that on, it's a wrap. I mean, we might turn it down. Usually we're going to turn it up though. In most cases, it never shuts off though.
Okay.
If anything, we're going to crank it up.
I've got I've got a few more questions, but one of them is around topical authority. It gets thrown around a lot. There's courses on it, all sorts of stuff. I want to know your opinion or take or even experiences with topical authority. Is it as simple as just covering all the lowest competition keywords within that topic and building your way up and kind of linking it all together? And now you're a topical authority because you've covered everything, or is there more to it?
And I had a lot, my opinion. So just because something's semantically, everything is semantically or linguistically connected at some point, right? But like, let's just take, there was like that big training. I don't agree with that format and the way that is. Even if we were to look at that asset that training came from, your top keyword that you're generating traffic for is for the word she or the or dress. Mm-hmm. Like, is traffic not what the site's about? You know what I mean? Like, if all that, like, yeah, you're getting 30,000 visitors per month, but it's for the word the. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't convert.
Like, yeah, it's like, it looks good on paper, but is it producing dollars? Like, to me, what I want to do is, I understand the topical authority and hitting every single keyword that makes sense. Like, all the intents are right. Like, I have my supporting pages, where there's traffic, like doing what makes sense, but just producing something because it's semantically connected or it's going to fill out some type of magical topical relevance map that some tool spit out. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in that. No, I believe in covering a topic fully, but just because it shows up in a tool, no.
Interesting. Yeah. Cause on my main site, there's topics that I refuse to cover, even though it will be, I guess, considered topically somewhat relevant because they're involved in the sport, but I don't want to cover it because I know the visitor that comes to the site for that keyword isn't interested in what I'm selling. And two, it's just traffic for traffic then. It doesn't make sense for me to have that keyword. So I have a second site that I'm just pumped with that stuff because it's like, okay, I don't need it. So I'll make use of it somewhere else and build up another similar site that will link back to my site, like a mini network with that. But that means I don't have to have that page on my site, but I still rank for a whole lot of shit doing it. So I guess like I don't need to cover, like for example, let's say volleyball. I don't need to cover every single keyword relating to volleyball if I'm selling training programs for volleyball. I need to cover a lot of the training program stuff. And there's stuff like, why do volleyball players wear this or whatever?
Right. And
for me, I don't care.
And following that format, let's talk about volleyball, that would mean that we would need a whole boatload of pages on just sand, right?
That's true.
Or the thread in the net. Like some of these topical maps that I'm seeing people do, it's just insane. Like, I don't feel as though that's necessary because at the end of the day, what's the objective? The objective is to make dollars.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. And then I look at other sites where they filled out everything completely. They're still only getting, all of their traffic comes from 30% of the pages, It's just, It just doesn't make sense to me.
Do you think those pages though support those pages getting the traffic? Because that
Well,
seems to be the prevailing wisdom around it.
yeah, but if there was value, Google would reward you with traffic.
On those pages, you mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if there was value, then you would be getting traffic to those pages. But just producing pages and having pages sit to support the idea or the main topic, and then those pages are dead. They're not getting any traffic. They're not being rewarded. They're not continuously being seen or producing anything for the site. What's the point? And then if you take those away, that doesn't hinder my performance on the website. In fact, it might actually give us a lift, right? Maybe. Usually everything stays the same. But
So what's your take on that? I saw Google just tweeted the other day about deleting old content. Wait, I can't remember now. Did they say it's okay or that it's not okay? I think they said it's. I can't remember now. I just drew a huge blank. But anyway, what's your take on deleting old content on a website? Say someone's just done what you're saying. They've filled out a whole topical map. Only 30% of pages getting traffic. Would you recommend deleting any old, I guess, content that's not getting traffic, or the other stipulations that you're looking at before deleting?
well, I would make darn sure that Google's not going to reward it, right? Like, is it indexed? Right? Is it being seen? Are the pages being crawled? Just because it's not 100% getting traffic doesn't mean it has to go. Like, is it indexed? Is it still being seen? Does Google feel that there's value? Right? Is it in the forward-facing index? That would be the first piece. And then the second piece would be, did I do everything to ensure the probability that it would get traffic? If I've done those steps, and depending on if I spent money on links, did I push links to it? Then I would ditch it.
Okay.
If Google doesn't think there's value, neither do I. It's out of there. I was just going through this with a client. Like, no links, no traffic, it's out of here. Plus, we already did 2 refreshes on the content. It's out of here.
Interesting.
Gotta go.
Okay. Perfect. Actually, I want to ask you a question on content that I have ranking. That I've had it happen twice to me now. Basically, I actually talked about this I think a couple of episodes ago, but essentially I have, let's take the volleyball example. And I have a page. So I have 2 pages. One page is strength training for volleyball. The other page is do volleyball players lift weights? So when you search the 2 terms, 2 different SERPs, 2 different intents. But my does volleyball players lift weights has like cannibalized, quote unquote, the strength training for volleyball players, where the fact that the strength training for volleyball players doesn't even rank on anything. And the do volleyball players lift weights ranks for strength training for volleyball and number 1 for do volleyball players lift weights, etc. So I don't know why all the anchor text is pointing to the strength training one as strength training, etc. So, but it's just, Google just seems to love that page. Is there something, I don't know if you've come across that. Is there something you've done, experienced or anything like that, where you could bring back that strength training page to be indexed for that query versus the other one?
And then you've already pointed the internal links to from the page that's winning over.
Yep.
But Google's rewarding you for this page?
Yeah.
Well, then I would build out more content on the page that Google's rewarding related to strength.
Yeah.
Because a win's a win, right?
Yeah, I guess so. And then just maybe redirect the other page to it, or just kind of leave it, or?
Well, were you building links, and is that page still indexed? It's just not ranking for the keywords that you want?
Yep, it's got links, and I think it's indexed. I'll have to double check, but it should be indexed. It's just not ranking for fuck all keywords.
Well, it should. Well, when you go inside a search console, what other keywords is it ranking for, and which other keywords is it getting impressions for? Maybe it's a matter of re-optimizing the page.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that.
See how Google's rewarding it. It has to be, if it's indexed, it's got to be rewarded for something, just not for what we wanted. But Google does that all the time.
Yeah, bastards, eh?
Yeah.
Well, while we stay on this topic of, I guess, Google and ranking, because I actually want to move after this question. I actually want to talk about your TikTok stuff. But the hot topic at the moment is parasite SEO. I mean, I guess it's been hot for a while, but it seems to have taken off more and more as, we just see high authority domains essentially ranking for everything. So I guess what's your take on sites like Forbes, Outlook, India, etc., ranking for anything and everything just because of their domain authority? Do you think that is something that might likely change in the future? Are you taking advantage of it yourself?
Well, like it recently, especially like with the lawyers stuff, Forbes has been a pain, right? Just like all my SERPs now, pushing everybody down. I do feel as though it will change. Just like all of a sudden they started winning. Everything's in cycles. So do I feel that it will change over time? Of course. Like it only takes so many people to be like, hey, this just isn't right. Like, what about all these other sites? Google, they move slow, but I do feel as though it will change. Google has to query diversity, right? But with that being said, as far as taking advantage, well, of course, we wanted to go and see, well, how do we get as an advisor or Forbes Connect? I'm just using Forbes as an example. All these, a lot of them now, as the big asset, they're having these paid profile programs now, like Inc., Forbes has it, all of them now. Like they're seeing that that's an avenue for cash, and they're able to jump right in there. So we've been getting on them like Forbes Connect, Forbes Advisor, with the people that have the credentials in order to get those types of properties or assets. We're able to jump in there. As far as the lower level stuff, like say it's a plumber and there's some like Web 2 or something that's showing up really, really high. If we can buy our way in, we'll buy our way in. If we can create an asset to replace what's already there in order to get in, then we'll do that. But no, what's the saying? Get down or lay down. Right. So, okay.
Yep.
If that's, wherever we can see an avenue in order to generate leads or traffic, then we'll take that opportunity.
Awesome.
For sure.
Is that Forbes Connector stuff, do you want to maybe just run through what that is for, or even for myself and for the listeners?
Forbes Connect, well, they have like a vetted profile for certain businesses or industries like financial, law, depending on your industry. So they have different types. They have advisor. So they advisor for all types of industries, and you pay like $6,000 a year. Then you get your Forbes page, you get an article. Yeah, Forbes has all kinds of stuff now that everybody could get stuff on there. But so does Inc. Any of them that you can think of, they have some type of paid profile or paid business profile,
Okay. And then you just use that to send links back to your main site.
Yeah, or two, like it's usually a pay to play, like with that Forbes Connect for the financial or for the law firms. If you pay more, then you can be one of their top voted. When you search for truck accident lawyer, it's not that hard they're ranking number 2 for truck accident lawyer. You pay your $16,000, boom, you're a top 3 voted law firm now. You know what I mean? For a law firm, that's
easy money
to me. Yeah. It's an easy pitch to a client. Hey, here's what I found. Here you go.
Oh, shit, okay.
But a lot of industries have this now. And a lot of these directories, man, it's all pay to play. For sure.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but fortunately.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to have a look at that and see what's around. But I know you did TikTok. I think it was last year that you were doing some TikTok stuff. SEO for TikTok, which is kind of like what the hell, because it's more like viral video. So what did you learn doing SEO TikTok stuff? Are you doing anything with it now? Are there any tips and tricks for anyone that can implement?
Well, no, but I get stuck on stuff, and then I try to figure it out to see like what's going on. And once I figured out how to rank for hard down keywords and then rank for hashtags, I got bored with it. Like once I figured out how they were ranking the videos like in order, like getting a bunch of views and all that stuff is cool. Like that's viral. It depends on what you watch and like the actual user. But in order to like, if I search for something, how do those videos show up? That's an easy thing to do. Like once I figured out how to do that to rank for specific keywords, I got bored with it. Like it had nothing to do with the comments. It was a bunch of views and a bunch of likes in a short period of time. Boom, you'd shoot up there. Like
that's all it was. So there's no keyword optimization, nothing. It was literally just likes and comments.
Yeah, I always forget about that. You have to make sure you have the actual video, and then you can make custom sounds, and then you can name the actual file.
Yes.
Like you can name your actual TikTok. Like you had to do your basic optimizations, put the right hashtags in, make the name of the video, and then name the actual audio file, and then load it up with likes and views in a very short period of time. And you'd be ranking. And you'd usually stay there until someone else did it. You'd rank. But we tried it for chainsaw, the word chainsaw, and the highest I got was number 20. Like the 20th video, going left to right, like the 20th video. Which was pretty cool because I was just like, chainsaw, vroom, vroom, chainsaw. That's all I did in the video. It was like number 20. But those videos had millions of views on them. So
you would have had to buy a lot. You would have to buy a lot of views.
It would have cost, yeah, exactly. But ranking for, like when I was messing around with it, ranking for SEO, local SEO, digital marketing, all those terms, less than $10 to rank it.
Wow.
Far less. A lot of times less than $5.
Did you get any ROI doing that? Were people searching that and actually following through with anything?
Which is why I stopped. Exactly. Yeah, like the videos where we were tracking the clicks to come through, maybe after sitting there for a month, maybe 6 clicks a video. Yeah. You know, like there was no. It just at least in the SEO space, it just was not worth it, or I would have kept doing it. You know? But I do see massive value, like the Facebook Reels, the podcasts, Pinterest. I adore Pinterest. Pinterest is...
Like, how are you taking advantage of Pinterest? Because obviously the algorithm changed. Everyone was like, fuck Pinterest. But there's obviously still people crushing it on there. So what are you doing?
I utilize a tool called Ninja Pinner. I scrape all the pins in. I trim them to take off the names on the bottom. And then we repost them under pseudonyms or fake names. Yep. That's pretty much it. And then we just link back to the different websites that we have.
Damn. So how many pins are you posting a day?
Per account?
Sure.
100. We'll say 100.
Oh.
At most 100.
All automated. So scraping, and then just posting 100 a day.
It's semi-automated. Like we have to, the young lady will go in there once a week and scrape all the pins.
Yep.
And then the rest is just automated. Then it'll just go and repin. It'll repin, and then I think she has it set to where she'll like other people's stuff too. Yeah. Like we're playing around with that to see if that does anything. But mostly it's scrape the pins, trim the pins, repost the pins, and then link back to us. That's it.
Damn.
As far as the traffic on a new site, you can generally, if you started doing that for a month straight, you could easily say that you would get 50 to 100 visitors a month. Yeah. Some, depending on what we're pushing, will get more, but we're in the SEO space. I mean, it's not that SEO, Google Maps, and different services, you know? So that's a lot for us. You know what I mean? And I pay that girl, she does multiple other jobs for me. I pay her $200 a month. So she produces far more than $200. $200 in to receive so much more. It's so worth it.
Is that traffic, I guess, converting for you in that niche, or is that probably better suited for niches that are more female dominated, like on Pinterest?
I think you would do a lot better with other stuff, but we're still definitely it's definitely converting. Yes. Not as high as we would like. I mean, if you were selling like hair extensions or something, or something to do with homes, that's actually a good idea. Something with the homes. We tried with real estate though. It didn't produce like we wanted it to.
Like, have you seen those real estate videos all over Instagram Reels and TikTok and stuff? They kind of like go through like the big mansion things, and those things just go viral like crazy.
They go nuts. Yeah. Those walkthroughs do well. Yeah. The houses that we're moving though are 500,000 or less though. The ones that really take off are in the millions. You know? Yeah. Because everybody, I mean, a $500,000 house is a lot, but it's not like a $23 million house.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. For sure. No, I want you to finish this podcast plugging your conference, Digital Unfiltered. I'll be there. So if anyone's listening to this, please come and say hi as well. But do you want to maybe just run through what's going on there and when?
Oh, yeah. So Digital Unfiltered, August 22nd through the 24th. And then we have a crazy lineup. It's in Caesar's Palace. The VIP, they get, dude, it's an unlimited bar, food, drink. It should be really good. That was my idea. So I hope that was a good idea for you. Aside from that, though, like I tried to get all the top people for SEO, or at least people that I think are top, like myself, Craig Campbell, Holly Starks. I don't want to forget anyone, but I assure you, if they're a top person, other than like say Neil Patel or Brian Dean, we got them there, you know? So it should be awesome. August 22nd through the 24th. That's it.
Nice. And if you use Palmer50, Chris Palmer's last name, you save $50 on your ticket too. So
that's true. That's absolutely correct. Yeah. I forgot about that. I'm the worst salesman in the world, aren't I? I'm so bad
Well,
at sales.
you're on this podcast, that's what people know. So yeah, if anyone's interested, digitalunfiltered.com. It's in Vegas, August 22 to 24. If you're there, come say hi if you're listening to the podcast. And yeah, it should be good. It'll be lots to learn there. But Chris, I appreciate you coming on here. Where can people find you and what you're doing? You're the hardest man to get hold of in the whole world.
Yes, I'm a very busy man, but YouTube is definitely a really good place. Get to know me, see what I'm talking about. Chris Palmer SEO on YouTube. If you're looking for any type of services, it's chrispalmermarketing.com. If you need mobile proxies, it's proxypixie.com. And if you're looking to just learn or do testing or just group consulting, SEOmastermind.org.
Okay, that's a lot. We'll send those all to me so I don't miss anything, so I can put them in the description for you.
All right, brother.
Perfect. All right, cheers for coming on, Chris. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. My pleasure.